guys, RW here, back in HD. I put the Creative Veda away somewhere and I couldn't find it forever, and then I was looking for something else, and of course I found it. So now we can look at this bad boy in high def. So this is a really cheap knife. It's like a $20 knife from BudK, and I decided just to have some fun with it, you know, play with it. I did find out that once I sharpened the teeth on the back here, it is a bear. Here, let me see if I can get this thing out just to even get it in and out of the sheath. It needs a different sheath. And I remember with Viva La Bam, every time I pulled this knife out, it looked like it had little pubic hairs on it. Well, it's because it's slicing the inside of the sheath up because it's so sharp. So here I'm getting the same thing now that I've sharpened my knife. So I'm assuming Viva must have sharpened his, because it sure wasn't sharp when I got it. So what did I do? All I did was I filed the back. This stuff is really hard. I was surprised at how hard this metal is to work now that it's, you know, it's been heat treated and turned into a knife. This AUS-6 is pretty hard. What I like about the AUS-6, from what I can tell so far, is that it's easy to put an edge on. Now, how long that edge stays on there, I don't know. I haven't done a good long edge testing with it yet. But I've got a fairly sharp edge on there now. I can't really demonstrate this, but I can shave with it. It will shave hair, cuts paper pretty good, slices bottles. I already tested it a couple more times after I sharpened it, slicing bottles, so it slices pretty good, chops, whatever. There's something about the ergonomics of this shape of handle and knife that makes you want to put your thumb up like this. I don't know why, it just does. It's kind of like the Space Pirate knife. I guess that tilt on the finger guard kind of makes you want to put a thumb up. For a $20 knife, no complaints. Seems like pretty decent steel, pretty decent work on the, you know, profiling of it and all that. You can see the little grind marks and stuff in it. I didn't bother to try and get those out. I suppose you could. What I did is I just threw this into my blast cabinet and I blasted it with 100 grit angular glass. And this steel is so hard that it wouldn't even take out, you know, the grind marks. But what it did do is it gave it a nice satin finish instead of that sort of semi-polished. The semi-polished finish really makes all the grind marks jump out at you. I kind of like the satin finish better. And then I rubbed it down with wax. You can just use car wax. Rubbed it down with wax, and water will just bead up off of this, like little drops of water just bead all over it. And it's a good little chopper. I guess we should, since I have it out, it really deserves yet another slicing test. So just put a bottle up here. Let me get this out of the way. Last time I soaked the sheath. I'll just let you get a view of this. And it's funny because when I come straight at it, I don't get such a good slice. But if I do a slice at it, it'll go through it really nice. So let's see if I can capture that. Let's see if I can do that. Feels like it's starting to rain already. Yeah, see, I can get a nice clean cut that leaves the bottom of the bottle. That's the kind of cut I like, where you're only moving I've only moved the knife about this much to get it, you know. It's none of this wham kind of stuff, you know. It's just a little slice. Now you can see if you can slice through a bottle with a little thing like that. Just imagine a wrist or you know, an ankle or you know, some small part of the body. You could probably lop it right off. It's a good chopper. And for the price, I mean, I really can't beat it. I like how the water beads up on it. Do you see that, guys? That's pretty cool. If I just lay it in the water, it makes little droplets. That's why I like the wax steel. It's just a cool thing to do. And so that when it's time to dry the blade off and put it away. And now the utility, perhaps, of the sawing blade, I really don't know about that, guys. It's kind of funny. It's kind of like a chainsaw profile, you know. It's got the scallops, which are actually fairly sharp. I'm just coming out here to look for a piece of something I can saw on. Something gnarly to saw on. You know, these little saplings out here, I cut them down on a regular basis. So for instance, you know, just lopping something off, like this little guy here, you know, I think you just go like that and it just take it right off. I was trying to see if there was something gnarlier. Here's something. Here's a big old root coming up out of the ground. Okay, that's cool. So this is good, something to show the saw blade action on. Okay. So does it saw like a saw? I really don't think so. I think once you get past the depth of the teeth, that's it. I really don't know what good other than looking awesome, you know, oh my gosh, it's got a big saw back on the blade. And it's kind of like a gut hook in the sense it'll tear up some flesh on the way in if you were to pierce somebody with it. But then, I mean, it would just make a big ragged hole. So I guess in terms of lethality, it would make a stab wound that much harder for somebody to sew up, so they probably bleed out and die, right? So I guess for that purpose, but in terms of being a, quote, survival, end quote, knife, and this being some sort of saw, I don't see it. I don't see it. I think you'd have better luck chopping through something and just chopping it, you know, and chopping through it like it was a hatchet or battening through it or whatever than you would sawing. I just don't see the saw doing very much. I mean, I've put a fair amount of effort in, and now I'm basically right at the depth of the teeth. And once you get past the depth of the teeth, the blade gets quite wide. And the idea of being able to force a wider and wider... See, that's the thing about a saw blade. It's got to be thin to work, right? It's all got to be the same thickness all the way through to work. So maybe for a quick slash, if you were just wanting to slash something, this would make a nasty tear in something, but I don't even think it would cut through, you know, see? I mean, it sort of does, but I mean, you could do the same thing like that with one swipe. So the utility of the saw blade, I think it's just aesthetic. But I did sharpen it up, and all that did was make it extremely difficult to pull out of the sheath or put back in the sheath, because it wants to cut through the sheath on the way in and out. So even though it's pretty awesome, I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend sharpening these teeth. They're just aesthetic anyway. So sharpening these teeth just makes it a pain in the ass. Now, if I were to make a Kydex sheath or something for that, then that wouldn't matter, you know, because you could just snap it in and out. But, yeah, lopping. Lopping is no problem with the lopping. It's a good chopper, good cutter. See, nice clean cut. I don't know about sawing, though. Yeah. I mean, you could use this, I imagine, like a machete to cut through the weeds or whatever as you were going through an area. It's kind of short for that. But it's okay. It's not a bad sized knife for carrying, so it's not so big that it's ridiculous to carry. But it's not so small that it's just like a little camp knife. It's got a nice amount of flat, a nice amount of belly. I guess I just like the profile of it, the weight of it, and the profile of it kind of appealed to me after handling Viva La Bams that he sent me for the knife handle. And back to the knife handle, my problem, I was down in the shop trying to make some handles for it, and I realized I didn't have any wood that was really wide enough right here. But I tried out a little piece of my bloodwood on it, and this little part that sticks out, I just blew it off. When the router was doing the profile, I just blew it off, because bloodwood is very splintery like that. It's better suited for handles that do not have any kind of parts like this or this on them. So just for a regular handle, like on a knife, it'd be fine, but for something crazy like this. So I was thinking maybe I'll make handles out of acrylic, but then what's the purpose of that? This has got better grip than acrylic. So I really don't know. Maybe I'll just wait until I have some pretty wood, and when I've got a particularly nice piece of wood, I'll put it on there. But for now, the chopper. See, another thing about the wax, see the plant material? Plant material comes off real nice, especially with a little bit of water. And there's that little green plant material on there. And I could get that right off of there. And you see the scum up here from the sawing and whatnot? Because I waxed the blade. All I do is just rub a little bit of water here. Wipe it off on my shirt. And it's just about perfect again. A little bit of crud here and there from the sawing test. But neat little knife. Thanks a lot again to Viva La Bam for the work, for sending me his knife to pimp out, and for introducing me to the knife and giving me the link to where to buy the knife on BudK. Because it's a great little knife, man. Well, I wouldn't call it little. It's a great knife. That's all I can say. For the price, for 20 bucks. And because I delayed my first order, they kept begging me to complete my order, and they sent me coupons and discounts and stuff, and the knife ended up costing me, I think, $21 shipped. So, because I was such a procrastinator. So sometimes procrastinating pays off. So anyway, I got mine, and it's just a neat little knife. You guys should check it out. I'll give you a link to where to get it on BudK if you want to get one of these. And when I get some handles made, I'll show you those. There you go, guys. So, RW back in HD here on Little Mountain. Thanks a lot for watching.